So now we come up to this question, that now we've established that there's something, first of all, we've established there's deep connections between what's happening in the world politically and what's happening in the inner republic. We discover that the Mayans, in their descriptions, were talking about the last 13-year countdown to the 0 year of 2012, and they described it as an age of revealing when the masks would be coming down. The Bible corroborates that, and they have talking about their apocalypse. But the apocalypse comes from the word, from the Greek, to reveal. In fact, what they really meant was, the apocalypse was a physical thing. Apocalypse was a big leather covering that covered something. That's all it meant. A leather covering. A leather covering. What's the metaphor? Yeah. Your body. The leather covering of the skin of the human being. That's what the apocalypse, and that's why they said the Battle of Armageddon will be fought in the air, meaning it's not physical. It's an intellectual battle. Anyone who's done a little study of the metaphorical, symbolic stuff knows this. We've established that there are these great connections between the microcosm and the macrocosm. And now, fortunately, it's not just the mystics, the true yogis, it's not just the Wilhelm Reichs and the occultists who've been talking about this. At last, finally, the scientists are also are catching up. Dr. George W. Cryle of the Cleveland Laboratories announced that he had discovered at the heart of every living organism a tiny nucleus of energy all aglow, with temperatures ranging from 3,000 to 6,000 degrees of heat, which he called radiogens or hot points, precisely akin to the radiant energy of solar matter. Look at that, precisely akin to the radiant energy of solar matter. He affirmed that a tiny particle of the sun's power and radiance was lodged within the heart of every organic unit. If a mystic had said it, they go, he's crazy, he's on something. But a scientist is now saying it. Deepak Chopra addresses it. Photons, which is the highest form of physical light, come out of nowhere. They cannot be stored, they can barely be pinned down in time. And they have no home in space whatsoever. That is, light occupies no volume and has no mass. The similarity between a thought and a photon is very deep. Both are born in the region beyond space and time where nature controls all processes in that void which is full of creative intelligence. Well, in the early 1980s, thanks to the development of a sophisticated measurement device, a team of scientists demonstrated that the cells of all living beings emit photons of a rate up to approximately 100 units per second per square centimeter of surface area. They also showed that DNA was the source of the photon emission. The Mayan calendar, says Stephen Hanor, is the only calendar known to be based on galactic cycles. The Mayans claimed that they created this calendar in order to monitor the light coming from the center of the galaxy and how it affected our DNA. We now know, through the work of Fritz Popp, that DNA not only absorbs light, but also emits light. DNA also appears to be the bridge between our physical and etheric bodies. Modern science now realizes that our DNA directly reflects our consciousness, making it possible for us to willfully change our DNA. Now that's magic, and that's true religion. Of course, the slave wants nothing to do with that. He's given away his power to others who do the thinking for him. Consciousness changed my DNA? You mean disease is changeable by consciousness? I don't want to believe that. It's external, it's a bug, it's a virus that's outside of me. I don't want to have anything to do with consciousness. I don't want to think. I don't want to change my consciousness. No. I believe what the FDA and the AMA tell me. But as a matter of fact, the opposite is true. The whole of matter can be transformed and changed by thinking. So when you see these stupid Lego sets that they show you the DNA tree floating in this hyperspace, that's malarkey. That's Hollywood, that's TV. No. The DNA is nothing but an expression of vibration, of energy, affected by thought. It's below thought. Your thinking will transform it. But my goodness, what would this philosophy now would do to the human race? There is a harmonic relationship between the Earth and our mind-body. Earth's low-frequency isoelectric field, the magnetic field of the Earth, and the isostatic field that emerges from our bodies are closely interwoven. Look, the scientists are saying this now. Our internal rhythms interact with external rhythms, affecting our balance, our REM patterns, and our mental focus. For epochs, the Schumann's resonance has provided the orchestrating pulse for life on this planet, our planetary heartbeat, which sets the tempo for health and well-being. ELF waves, frequencies, of Schumann's resonance are intimately linked with those of human brain waves. Natural or artificially induced changes in the Schumann resonance could affect the subtle and perhaps gross brain wave generation. So they're saying that, changes in the Schumann resonance can affect your brain. Liquid crystals, DNA, brain ventricles, and cellular structure, and by the way, DNA, as we're saying, as I just said, is not as they're showing you. Now, these liquid crystals in the human body may operate as antenna for detecting and decoding such global and local ELF signals. But I say something else. Could it be the other way around? Are the mental, emotional, and psychological states of human beings causing the changes to the electromagnetism of the planet? Well, Wilhelm Reich would certainly agree. And we need to get into this, because we got it all back to front. Of course, a physical event takes place, like now they're burning with heat in New York City because the power's off. So they say, my emotional states are caused by this horrific thing that the government is doing. Damn them, I'm out of my mood. How many people think, what was going on in the collective consciousness that caused that outbreak, that set this mood? We don't think like that. It's very foreign to us. Well, of course it's foreign to us. The people who try to teach us, like Wilhelm Reich, we lock those guys up in federal stockades and have them killed. That's why we are unfamiliar with most of this stuff. So changes within the mental reactions of humans, whether induced artificially or not, may precipitate the so-called earth changes that everyone's talking about. So what am I saying? That your mind, your thinking, and the thinking of the collective is actually affecting the world that we know outside ourselves, not the other way around? Well, the collapse of the Earth's magnetic field, which both guards the planet and guides many of its creatures, appears to have started in earnest about 150 years ago, the New York Times is planning to report. Science reporter Bill Broad has filed a report which explores how the Earth's field strength, the field strength, has waned 10% to 15% so far, and this deterioration has accelerated of late, increasing debate over whether it portends a reversal of the lines of magnetic force that normally envelop the Earth. So something bizarre is off. And of course, the scientists will always be looking for external causes. Broad goes on to claim a reversal could knock out power grids, hurt astronauts and satellites, widen atmospheric ozone holes, send polar auroras flashing to the equator, and confuse birds, fish, and migratory animals that rely upon the steadiness of the magnetic fields as a navigation aid. Remember all those beached whales and beached porpoises? They're happening all over the world. It's almost pandemic. Nature's telling us something.